Australia is a country, or continent, depending on how you want to label it, that is known for many things, like the concerning amount of wildlife, the Sydney Opera House, kangaroos. Australia is also known for banning media in general, like shows, movies, video games, and even social media, that they plan to ban all social medias for anyone under 16 and around December of 2025. Maybe you think kids should be on social media, maybe not, I don't know. I'm not going to say my stances. I am just a guy informing you on this. Australia has also banned quite a few movies, most notoriously The Human Centipede 2, Man Behind the Sun, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which, yes, those movies are not pleasant to watch at all, especially The Human Centipede 2. That movie is so disgusting. I don't even know why it was created in the first place. But video games, because that's what we talk about here on this channel, and Australia is known for banning a lot of them. Lots and lots. Actually, the inspiration for making this video was due to Silent Hill F getting banned in Australia already by the IARC, or the International Age Rating Coalition, and the game doesn't even have a release date yet, but it's already been clipped by Australia. When you actually view the content warning for Silent Hill F on Steam, it does say, this game contains depictions of gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucinations, torture, and graphic violence. And yes, she does have a school uniform and doesn't look a day older than 16, so we can definitely assume that she is going to be a victim of all the horrid things I just listed. Which, yes, sounds bad and scary, and the IARC does obviously check video games before release to give them proper ratings, depending on the country. But of course, Silent Hill F isn't the only victim to Australia's blight, and I'm not entirely sure if the banning is justified, as I have no idea of the actual contents that remain in the game, as there is no release date that has been announced so far. But to start with some of Australia's purging, we can start with Manhunt and Manhunt 2 by Rockstar, which were also banned in Australia, which makes sense, as if you know anything about these games, or just how Rockstar was back in the day, it was very graphic. And Manhunt is a very graphic game in nature, just to name an example, like suffocating someone with a plastic bag, obviously killing, torture, all the bad stuff that you can possibly think of. Manhunt is probably going to have it. Actually, a very scary story related to Manhunt that may or may not have affected the Australians' influence to ban this game, but certainly damaged the reputation of this game nonetheless, is the murder that took place in Leicestershire, England. I'm American, I'm sorry. 14-year-old Stephen Pakira was sadly murdered by 17-year-old Warren LeBlanc. When police investigated the room of LeBlanc, there was a copy of Manhunt lying there. Furthermore, the parents of the victim blamed the violent acts on Manhunt. Now, whether or not you believe the game played a big part into the murder of Pakira, you have to understand that it is a very violent game, and some people just take a big inspiration to violent video games. This argument on whether or not violent video games harm the youth is still being discussed today after being a thing for almost 20 years. And other events in the past relating video games to violence have happened. For example, Doom is blamed a lot when talking about Columbine, as the kids who did the deed did have copies of the game. It's definitely a gray area, as you could equally blame parenting for putting kids onto those type of games, and if you see your kid is mentally unstable or socially inept, it wouldn't be the right thing to make them play those type of games, but that is beyond the scope of this video. Maybe that is a discussion for another time. Another game that is banned in Australia is South Park's Stick of Truth, which is crazy. I actually don't remember this game being too bad. When I was reading for the reasoning on the ban, it said it's banned because of scenes of sexual violence involving minors, and one thing I did not remember when playing this game is this. Yeah, I will not read that out loud. You guys can happily read it if you want. I actually didn't remember the scene at all. I probably wanted to forget it, so my brain just deleted it. And also the abortion. So yeah, go ahead and ban this game, Australia. I don't mind it. I understand it completely. When looking at the reasoning for most of the bans, they actually have a lot in common, like sexually aggravated reasonings. Australians must really hate sexual assault. I mean, who doesn't? A more recent game that came out, Hunter x Hunter Nen X Impact, was also banned for implied sexual violence involving minors. Shout out Hunter x Hunter, it's a really good anime. I actually didn't play this game, but I wonder how extreme it actually was, cause it could be the lightest thing and they will label it with the most extreme wording possible. But if any of you guys have played it, please tell me if it's disturbing or not. Australia also does not like drugs. Reason Why St. Rose 4, State of Decay, Risen, Crimecraft have all been banned. Actually, Silent Hill Homecoming was banned as well, having a torture scene that involved drills going into body parts. Yeah, sounds pretty bad. And yeah, Australians tend to have a more strict policy on video games and media in general, as opposed to, I guess, other countries like America, where I guess the standards are a little different. Most games are made for American standards, and Australians are a lot less open-minded to ideas like drugs and sex, as Americans are. The culture in Australia tends to be harsher in those sort of topics. For example, hardcore P, please use your imagination on this, cannot be legally distributed in Australia due to it resembling some form of violence, even though it isn't really violence at all. Many people actually attribute the more stricter policies that have happened in more recent years in Australia due to the Port Arthur Massacre that happened in Port Arthur, Australia in 1996. A man by the name of Martin Bryant ended the lives of 35 people and wounded 23 others, people calling it the most deadliest massacre in Australian history. Video games and other violent forms of media were blamed. Gun laws also became more controlling as he used a Colt AR-15 and an L1A1 rifle. I didn't want to get into really anything too serious in this video, as I'm a person who tends to joke a lot, so I don't like my videos to be too down in the dumps. But if you guys are interested, it's online. There are videos. So if you guys want to know more, please look. I'll probably put a link down in the description. So with your time, please look. And also, Roblox was questioned if it should be considered a social media platform when the talks about the social media ban under 16 were proposed. Of course, the social media ban for those under the age of 16 will take place in December of 2025, but Roblox has not been formally placed with such a label as a form of social media. Some could argue Roblox is, as there are blogs, communities that you can join, and also private messaging that you can send to people. And you guys obviously know the bad reputation Roblox has had in the past with pedos on there, which is probably a reason why some Australians were pushing for the total ban for Roblox with children under the age of 16. Also in September of 2024, Australia adopted a stricter policy around loot boxes and gambling in games and would put an M for mature label on games that contain such, which would mean that you'd have to be 18 or older to play, you know, mature. Which is why when those policies came to fruition, some games with such gambling embedded purchases became restricted for all players in Australia, not just the minors, but for everyone. And I'm not here to criticize Australia in any sense. I actually agree with a lot of the censorship involving children, and of course the gambling. And taking away social media may not be a stretch, as there have been horrible stories surrounding younger kids with social media, so I honestly wouldn't blame Australians for this. I know there are kids in America who are getting their phones in elementary school. When I was in elementary, like when I was in 4th grade, I was worrying about finishing my Lego when I got home, not about how many followers I had on Instagram. It's a completely different world. And plus the brain rot, like I talked to my little cousin yesterday and he started mogging me, like dead ass. I don't even know what mogging is, but he did it. Like, I don't know how these kids are doing that. Like, this generation is so cooked. And kids also love video games, and so these Australian bans would make sense if only they were restricted for a younger audience as opposed to banning it outright. I'm American, I want to emphasize that, so I grew up with a different culture, different way of life, different tolerance or standards when it comes to, I guess, media and what I should be seeing. But I personally believe it is overdoing it a little bit when you're banning these games for audiences over the age of 18. I just think it's a little too much. I get it for kids, but to do it for people who are older, I think is a little stretched. But that, of course, is just my very narrow view of it. And like I said earlier in the video, I just wanted to talk about this because of the Silent Hill F ban in Australia, and it is just a huge contention point for a lot of people online right now. People have certainly said some things about it. Silent Hill fans in Australia are not too happy about this one, but hopefully they can lift some bans, maybe once actual players start to experience and critique the game. Future me here. So actually, Silent Hill F got unbanned in Australia. I recorded this video the day before it got unbanned, so that kind of sucks, but currently at the moment it is unrated, so that means anything can happen. But as we sort of near the release date of the actual game, things could change. It could get banned again. Who knows? But for right now, that preemptive ban has been taken away, and people who live in Australia that are fans of Silent Hill, you guys have been spared. Anyways, back to the video. Thanks for listening. But what do you guys think? Do you think it is too harsh to ban this game, or do you think it is justified due to the Steam content warning? Do you guys think this Australian ban does make the game more appealing to some people? Do you think it makes the game better in some sense? I know some people online are arguing that it could make the game better because of just how edgy it is. Maybe making it edgier makes it a better game. That's what some people think. Shout out to all the Australians and Silent Hill fans. Trust me, it's not that bad. At least you don't live in North Korea or China. Maybe, I mean, I'm about to sound like a communist. Some Chinese cities look nice. That's all I want to say. And for those of you who have watched through the entire video, thank you guys so much. It means a lot to me. And please subscribe if you liked the video. That would also mean a tons. And drink water. I don't have water on me at the moment, but please drink water. It's good for you. Do not pick up soda. I don't want you to put any soda in your mouth today or the rest of the week. Just water. And if you like carbonated stuff in your mouth, drink sparkling water. I recommend Polar. So yeah, eat your vegetables too. Bye.